Hello there, Ben, and welcome to your first essay correction. Let's dive straight in and see what you've done. So here, the bar chart illustrates the proportion of energy sources from 4 food products for British men of 3 different age groups. So that's good, but I think it's a little bit long. It could do with breaking up with some commas, but also I would maybe say the bar chart illustrates the proportion of energy sourced from 4 food products by British men across 3 age groups. It uses slightly fewer words, but still gets the same information across. It's always a good idea to use as few words as possible to express as much information as possible. If we have too many irrelevant words, it can become a problem. Not that that's an issue here, though. So most of the caloric intake, good, for males, plural, men or males between 0 and 24 years old came from dairy products or comes from dairy products. We're not referring to a specific date here, so we can say comes from dairy products. So I'm missing another S here, which stands, again missing another S, at approximately 43%. You could have said just over 40% there as well, because we have no exact marker for it. Meat and vegetables both comprise exactly 20% of consumption. So we're still talking about males between 0 and 24 years old. So we could have said meat and vegetables both comprise exactly 20% of consumption for this group, whereas pulses stand at around 17%. In the next age group, maybe in the next age group up, or for the next grouping of age, no. Yeah, the next age group up. For people 25 to 49 years old, half of their energy sources come from meat and nearly a quarter from dairy. Good. Or half of their energy is sourced from meat and a quarter from dairy. Vegetables and pulses are responsible for 15 and 10% of their energy sources respectively. So I'm seeing a lot of energy sources. Be careful with repetition. There are many other ways to refer to energy sources. So even if you're just saying sources of energy or sustenance, their sustenance is the noun we give to things that sustain us: food, drink, sustenance. So on the other hand, in males of over 50 years old, see, that's a bit clumsy. I would change that to, on the other hand, in males over 50, or in males aged over 50, pulses make up nearly 65% of their caloric intake. So on the other hand, for males over the age of 50, there's no need to add the capital P here. We only capitalize proper nouns, and pulses here and meat here, not proper nouns. So on the other hand, in males over the age of 50, pulses make up almost 65% of their caloric intake, while meat provides, so they provide, it provides. Meat provides them with a fifth of their energy. True. So dairy and vegetables are responsible for 25% of their consumption. I wouldn't say dairy and vegetables are responsible for their consumption. I'd say that dairy and vegetables make up 25% of their consumption, or their consumption is 25% dairy and vegetables, or 25% of everything they consume is dairy and vegetables. The former being 15 and the latter being 10%. So I wouldn't necessarily say the former being at 15% and the latter at 10%. We can say with the former being 15 and the latter 10%. Overall, the main energy sources in the three age groups vary considerably, with dairy, meat, and pulses, another unnecessary capital there. Again, this one's a little bit clumsy. So overall, the main energy sources in the three age groups vary considerably. So let's say the main sources of energy varies considerably with age, maybe even then a semicolon. So the main sources of energy vary considerably with age. Dairy, meat, and pulses are the most popular with the young, the middle-aged, and the elderly, respectively. Middle-aged as well is a collocation, so I would have a little hyphen there. What else could we have noticed? I personally think that the fact that each group of food experiences a spike in popularity, but vegetables does not, is a group that could have been referred to. That vegetables never manages to make up more than 20% of any group's caloric intake. But otherwise good. Yeah, I would consider working on the minor corrections that I've said, as well as maybe putting in that semicolon there. And yeah, mainly just running through those minor corrections. Let's have a look at your task 2. So, do copyright laws limit creativity or reward it? So we've already got a question there. And then, would society function better without such rules and regulations? So we're being asked two very specific things. Do copyright laws limit creativity or reward it? And would society function better without those rules? So, intellectual property policies were created to prevent people from stealing ideas. Good. Nice intro. Without these laws, inventors would not have any recognition for what they created. That's cool, but I would maybe switch inventors to maybe entrepreneurs or professionals, just to imply that there's money at stake here. They're not necessarily only looking for recognition. The purpose of the courts usually is to protect them from financial loss and reputational loss. So, therefore, in my opinion, they enhance imagination and has a purpose in society. So we have here, have a purpose in society. It has, they have. So they enhance imagination and have a purpose in society. And while that's good and that's true, they not really related to the original question. So would society function better with enhanced imagination? And that's something that we should answer. Just a very, very brief but on-point description in your intro will go down well. So this essay will discuss how such laws represent a recognition of achievement and how they provide an incentive for people to achieve high standards. So I think here where you say recognition of achievement, you should probably link that a little bit more closely to how that is rewarding creativity. Because again, incentive for people to achieve high standards is great, but does it limit creativity or does it reward it? Always bring your conclusions back to the topic, what the essay is about. So firstly, copyright laws encourage artists to think outside the box. Okay. It acts as a security. I would change that to it acts as security, or it provides a small measure of security. If their work is stolen, they will be able to bring the culprit to court. Yes. Or this enables them to bring the culprit to court. Recent research has shown that 95% of song authors or songwriters that sued. So the infinitive is sue, and the past is sued. 95% of song authors that sued for breach of copyright were successful. Therefore, they were able to be compensated for their work that was copied by a third party. In the word copied here, we could do with implying that it was taken without permission. So to copy something is not necessarily the crime, but to copy something without authorization or without payment, if that was required, is the crime. So these people were able to be compensated for their work that was illegally copied by a third party. It assures that if their work is stolen, they will get some recognition for their effort. Again, it's not really about recognition. The court doesn't see these cases through to say, well done. It's about ensuring that the correct person, the person who owned the work, is rewarded in the way that is just, that was intended. And that's financially. Everyone has a right to charge for their labour or the fruits of their labour, and that is protected in law. So, secondly, these laws provide people with an incentive to give the best of themselves to produce exquisite pieces of art. Good. So, these laws provide people with an incentive to give the best of themselves, to achieve high standards, in order to produce exquisite pieces of art, maybe. Without any regulation, or regulations, either would be fine, anyone could claim that a painting or sculpture is their own when in fact they stole it. Good. For instance, a retrospective study conducted by the University of Melbourne showed that most sculptures and paintings from the Middle Ages, again a collocation with a hyphen, but Middle Ages, had unknown creators because several people were claiming the same artwork, or were claiming to have produced the same artwork. Thus, with the advent of intellectual property laws, no one apart from the creator can claim the work. Or even, thus, the introduction of intellectual property laws prevents anyone other than the creator from claiming the work. Yeah, I suppose either is good. Thus, with the advent of intellectual property laws, no one but the creator can claim the work, would probably be the tightest and cleanest way to say it. In conclusion, copyright laws act as a motivation for artists to perform at their best and refrain people from... There we go. So, in conclusion, copyright laws act as a motivation for artists to perform at their best. Again, good and true, but just a little bit off topic, just a little bit. And laws do not refrain people. People can refrain from doing something. I can refrain from stealing your work, but that is a self-governing behaviour. Laws discourage people from stealing someone else's work. So, in conclusion, copyright laws act as a motivator, or act as motivation, for artists to perform at their best or to produce their best work, and discourage people from stealing the work of others. Consequently, it benefits society as a whole, or consequently, it provides benefits to the whole of society. So there's just these few conjugation errors throughout, and slightly off topic, but well done for using the acronym throughout. Your body paragraphs are actually quite strong. Good examples, well worded, well summarized at the end. So I would recommend maybe some additional topic-specific vocabulary to get you focused, to stick to the topic. So do copyright, and the conclusion needs to come back to the title of the essay more closely. So we should have answered those specific questions that were present at the beginning. in both our introduction and our conclusion, but your body paragraphs, other than the minor grammatical errors and the word choice suggestions that I've made, were quite strong. So well done on that one. Um, but yeah, that concludes our check for today. If you would like to continue having your essays corrected and improve your score, then do sign on to our course on our website, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye bye.